Hi guys, today we will be discussing about the CLAT 2024's question paper in detail. This lecture will be the first part of the CLAT exam 2024. We will be discussing about the English language skills. This year's CLAT has been one of the moderate kind of paper since last couple of years. So we will be analyzing the certain aspects of the answer of the question paper of CLAT 2024, and we'll be dealing with the English part first. There will be 4 parts of this series. We will be discussing in detail about the answer key. This is on your screen the question paper given by Consortium of National Law Universities, uploaded on its website. You can go and check. This is the set A, that is the star set. Okay. The paper was of 2 hours, 120 minutes. That is 120 minutes. And this year they reduced the questions from 150 to 120. And negative marking, as you know, it's 1/4. So you could go for more number of attempts, because in other exams like UPSC, the negative marking is 1/3. Okay. So I hope that all of you who appeared for the exam, your paper was good, and hopefully you will make it into the list and you will get admitted in one of the finest colleges of finest NLUs, that is NLU Bangalore or Nalsar, etc., Nalsar Hyderabad. And this year, if you attempted, let us say 105 questions, and if you are scoring 90 marks or more than 90 marks, you will be 90 marks or 95 marks. It will be safe score, I think, for top NLUs, whatever your category may be. So that is the top score. Top universities can, if you score more than 95 marks, you will get NLU, Bangalore, and Nalsar, hopefully. So in English language, that we will be looking today at around 24 questions. Okay, and then you had this current affairs section, legal reasoning section, logical reasoning section as well. And quantitative aptitude, this year they ask only 12 questions. Okay. So let's start this part 1 of the test. This is English language. So we will read it out first so that we can solve. I am reading out for you. In the realm of contemporary literature, the interplay between character and setting is a nuanced dance that shapes the narrative's essence. The setting, often described with painstaking detail, becomes more than a backdrop. It becomes a character, influencing the plot and development. So this line will be important in answering the questions below. Consider, for instance, a barren expanse of the deserts in Jhumpa Lahiri's namesake. The arid landscape mirrors the sense of isolation felt by the protagonist Gogol as he navigates his identity crisis in the foreign land. The relentless sun and vast sands are not mere description, they are silent witness to inner turmoil. On other hand, the literary spectrum, on the other hand of the literary spectrum, there is Arundhati Roy's The God of Small Things, The lush, vibrant Kerala backwaters are not just the setting, they are a character woven into fabric of the story. The teeming, humid landscape reflect the complex web of human relationships and secrets that unravel in the narrative. So this line is again important. The complex web of human relationship. This interplay is not confined to contemporary literature alone. In Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, Macbeth, the eerie and foreboding setting of the Scottish moors casts a dark shadow over the characters' actions. The moors, shrouded in the mist and the mystery, serve as an ever-present omen of the impending tragedy. So now, what is the first question? In the contemporary literature, how is the relationship between character and setting described in the passage? So the first option says that it is non-existence. So it is obviously wrong. It is existent. So this becomes wrong. It is a complex interplay where setting influences the plot and the character development. It seems to be the answer. So the answer could be this. Okay. The character and settings are interchangeable. That is not there. Settings are insignificant. No, settings are significant. So the answer can be, it is a complex interplay where the setting influences the plot and character development. The next question. In the novel The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, what does the barren desert landscape symbolize? A thriving community? No, it's not a thriving community. The protagonist's sense of isolation and identity crisis? Yes. It's not lush and vibrant setting. It's not happy. Okay. So answer will be B. What role does Scottish moors play in Shakespeare's Macbeth? It serves as beautiful serene landscape. No. Look, we can go, for example, let us check where is Macbeth mentioned. If I go and check here, Macbeth, the interplay is not confined to contemporary literature. In Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, Macbeth, the eerie and the forbidding setting of the Scottish moor cast a dark shadow over the character's action. The moors, shrouded in the mist and the mystery, serves as an eye-present omen of the impending tragedy. So the answer is, it is an ever-present tragedy. So we can literally get the answers. Question number 4. What does the term interplay? What does the term interplay refers to in the context of the passage? If we go and check the word interplay, if you go and just check the word interplay, we'll see where the word interplay is. I just can go and check interplay. Interplay. It is the word interplay. So let us go to the question. What does the term interplay refer to in the context of the passage? A lack of interaction between character and setting? No. A complex relationship between a complex relationship where the setting influences the narrative? Let us check. This is the complex with. Okay. So it is a complex relationship is the answer. This. Okay. So obviously the answer will be the complex relationship. Okay. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following words best describes the setting in God of Small Things? That is the novel written by Arundhati Roy. It is a setting. If you go and just check Arundhati Roy is God of Small Things. It is here, the God of Small Things. The lust and vibrant Kerala. Lust and vibrant. This is the answer. The passage is very easy. It's not that hard to find answers. What is the main theme discussed in the passage? What is the main theme? So what is the main thing? Let us check. The characters in the contemporary literature are not influenced by their settings. Not there. This statement is wrong because it's clearly mentioned that they do have relationship. Setting in literature is unimportant. No, it's important. In literature, the setting can be as influential as character in shaping the narrative. Yes, definitely. This is the answer. Setting have no role. No, they do have role. So we got our answers. We got our answers. All of them. So you can check whether you have done or you have attempted the questions and your answers are right. So this passage was relatively easier. It's not hard for you if you could read and understand the language. In language was also easy. They had just talked about the setting and character and interplay and plot and character developments again. So just read the passage carefully. If you read the passage carefully, look at the questions and then try to find out the answers from passage only. Okay, that is very important. So we will move ahead. We will discuss the second passage, which is about the middle class. Okay, so let us start discussing that passage. The crisis of justice is that that is the subject matter of discussion in media today is in fact the crisis of justice for middle class. The main difference between India and OECD, that is Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, is that whereas the middle class in these countries, meaning the middle class of the OECD countries, okay, has reasonable access to justice. And in India, it does not. It means that we do not have access to, that is the middle class in India do not have access to justice. A vocal and powerful middle class has emerged in India since 1991. And this liberalization, privatization, globalization, LPG happened in 1991. That's why you see a lot of middle class emerging in India, particularly in fields of service sector. That is why 1991 is very important. It is a demanding reasonable access to justice. Much of the judicial reform efforts will help meet this demand. The author is talking about judicial reforms also. The question of justice for the poor is talking about the poor. Okay, let us highlight this also. However, an altogether different challenge. No country in the world has been able to secure justice for the poor. The line is important. No country in this world has been able to secure justice for poor. Most of the jails of the richest countries are filled with the poorest. This is the irony. It's very the figure of speech used is pun, where you are talking on one side about the richest countries and you see your jails are filled with the poorest, and not only poor, the poorest. The masses are more often victims of the criminal justice system of the crime. The masses means the common man are more often victims of criminal justice system than of crime. In India as well, jails are almost exclusively filled with the poor. The civil justice system is hardly accessible to them. They are often victimized by lawyers, tons, and court staff. They are docked excluded. This word is important. They have asked this in the question. Next couple of questions. A new type of untouchability. The language and the logic and the colonial and feudal culture of the judicial system are alien to them. It rarely takes cognizance of their needs and interests. It's talking about the poor. Okay, this passage is particularly talking about poor. That's why we highlighted this. The main concern, therefore, is to escape the attention of judicial system, criminal and civil. The landless Dalit person in the interior of Madhya Pradesh once gave me an insightful definition of the court from the perspective of the masses. A court is a place where you are forcibly taken by the police to be punished, and no one goes to court. Okay. And in contrast, many lawyers and judges collectively define a court as a temple of justice where rights are protected. This is just we can say these are just papery words. It's not there in actual condition. Justice has been very costly. Even if you go to the lawyer, they will ask for thousands of rupees as a fee. That's what this passage is also talking about, and means these sharply divergent divisions or divergent visions means the justice for one section is often injustice for other. Protecting the livelihood. This is the example given of a traditional taxi, and auto rickshaw walas, that, and what is happening due to this Ola Uber. So the passage is discussing about that. Protecting the livelihood of traditional taxi and auto drivers from the predatory pricing by corporate app-based taxi providers by imaginatively using the available tools of law to delay their incursion would be seen by the rich and the sections of middle class as a failure of the judicial system, and possibly as also resulting in downgrading of the ease of doing measures. I mean, they are talking in this passage about the what we can say, this paradoxical nature. However, the masses would see such a judicial intervention as a strong evidence of a good judicial system. Although the conflict over competing visions of the nation and conflicting demands from social economic segments have confined judicial reforms of judicial administration mainly to neutral areas. They have also asked questions about these neutral areas, such as processes, reform, procedural law, technology and planning, and court and case management, judge strength and the workload of judges. There has been a considerable improvement in these areas where judicial system has improved its performance. I mean, this passage is taken from the magazine called Frontline. It's written by Mohan Gopal in his famous edits, Justice and the Two Ideas of India. So they have talked in the passage. The author has talked about the divergent opinions and perspectives of two Indias. One the poor India and another the rich India. So let us start discussing about the questions. What is the central thesis of the above passage? What is the central thing? Let us see क्या बोलता है statement 1. देखो, the practice of untouchability takes various forms in modern India. The practice of untouchability. Okay, it's generally not talking about the practice of untouchability. The imagination of justice for rich and poor is vastly different. I think this can be one possible answer. So this is not there. So B is there. Addressing judge strength and case load management does not affect the performance of, no, it affects. Protecting the livelihood of tribes, like it is just an example. It is not the central thesis. Okay, the central thesis has been the imagination of justice, that the divergent opinions of justice amongst the poor, amongst the rich, and not only in India, not only in OECDs, across the globe they are talking. They have given various measures to justify the theme. What does the author mean by docket excluded? Okay, I have highlighted this word already. If you see, and just check the passage and options first, and then we will jump to the passage. What does the author mean by docket excluded in the second paragraph? Okay, the poor do not have easy access to judicial system. Okay, the courts do not list bail petitions for the poor under trial prisoners who populate the country's jail. The poor rejects the judicial system as being alien to their language and logic. The rich are excluded from the country's prisons, almost populated. Look, this is not there. Let us go to the second paragraph. This is here. This paragraph, docked excluded, is typically talking about the poor. Okay, so in options you should go for poor. Poor do not have access to the judicial system. Okay, courts do not list bail petitions. Poor. So again you have three options. Let us check again. Here, the question of justice for poor is, however, an altogether different challenge. No country, they're talking about that. They're talking about the poor in the jails. Okay. The masses are more often victim of criminal judicial system in India as well. They're exclusively filled with poor. The judicial system is hardly accessible to them. They are often victimized by lawyers. I mean, we can go for we can go for this. The nearest possible option can be, I think the poor do not have access. This can be one logic. Courts do not list the bail petitions under trial prisoners. No, I think A can be the best possible answer. Okay, this is what I feel. Next, which of the following words best describes the experience of different segments of people with the justice system as described in third paragraph. Okay. Let us check which of the following words describe the experience of different segments of people. This is obviously conflicting. It's not that hard to find this answer. Answer is C. If you are marked in your answer copy, just check. Which of the following statements is the author most likely to agree with? So, statements of agreement. The judicial system reflects the same power. No, same power. What same power? This is wrong. Access to judicial system is determined by more by person's economic status, such as wealth, income, than their social status, such as religion and caste. It's not talking about that. Not specifically talking about religion also. The judicial system was made by the rich for the rich. No, nothing of that sort. There is difference in the author has not talked like this anywhere, that it is made by the rich. No. Although it is inaccessible to poor, it doesn't mean that it is made by the rich. Again, which of the following statements is the author most likely to disagree with? So they are talking about disagreement. Okay. A truly representative democracy would ensure that the interests of the poor are also represented in judicial system. Why would the author disagree with this? The law ensures equality both in text and practice. No, it is only in text, not in practice. So author will disagree with this. The poor suffer most at the hands of lawyers, touts, compared to judges. No, the author will most likely to disagree. I mean, let us check again. Which of the following statement is the author most likely to disagree? Author will not disagree with this. Author will disagree with this, I think. I will go with B. You should also go with B. What makes judicial reforms a neutral area? This question, I think, is relatively hard to answer. Still, I have already marked. Yeah. So we'll jump to the question and then again in the passage we'll see. What makes reform of judicial administration a neutral area? Persons across socio-economic strata agree on the need to reform. It's not there. There is a consensus, not there. I think possible answer is C, because reforms of judicial administration is mandated by the constitution. It's not discussed in the paragraph. Option B also not discussed in the paragraph. Ideology and nothing regional वगैरह, this ऐसी कुछ बात भी वहाँ पर नहीं हुई है. So again not. Okay. Persons across socio-economic strata, ऐसा भी कुछ बात हुआ उसमें हुआ नहीं है. So we will go with C. Look, we will continue discussing in detail about the answer key. So keep in touch, and we will discuss in the next lecture about the next passages. We will continue discussing that. Okay. Let us read about this passage. This passage is from the famous book of Anita Desai's Fire on the Mountain. This book, the summary of this book is that you have one woman, a widow woman, living in Himachal Pradesh, Kasauli, in the for this in some, he was very much interested in living in the forest and that kind of things, in the mountainous areas, and she disliked any interference with her in nature by anyone. But when her great granddaughter came, the thing changed. So this is the para from that book by Anita Desai's Fire on the Mountain. So everything I will discuss this. Everything she wanted at the Karignano in Kasol, it is in Himachal Pradesh, remember. Here on the ridge of mountain, in this quiet house, it was the place in the time of life that she had wanted and prepared for all her life, as she realized on the first day of Karignano, with a great cool flowering of relief. And at least she had it. She wanted no one and nothing else. Very important, okay? She wanted no one and nothing else. Whatever else came or happened here would be unwelcomed intrusion and distraction. This she tried to convey to the plodding postman with a cold, piercing stare from the heights of the ridge onto his honest bullback. Unfortunately, he did not look up at her on the hilltop, but stared sturdily down at the dust piling onto shores as he plodded on. A bullock man and ox, she thought bitterly. She stepped backwards into the garden, and then wind suddenly billowed up and blew the pine branches about as though she to her curtain her. She was gray, tall and thin, and her silk sari made a sweeping, shivering sound, and she fancied she could merge with the pine tree. This is important. She could merge with the pine trees and be mistaken for one. To be a tree, no more than a no less, was all she was prepared to undertake. What pleased and satisfied her, so here at Carignano, was its barrenness. Important. This was the chief virtue of all Kosoli, of course, its darkness. It had rocks, it had pines, it had lights and air. And every direction there was a sweeping view. To the north of the mountain, to the south of the plains, occasionally an eagle swam through this clear, unobstructed mass of light and air. That was all. And Carignano, her home on the ridge, had no more than that. Why should it? The sun shone on its white walls. Its windows were open, the ones facing north, and open onto the blue waves of Himalaya, flowing out and up to the lines of ice and snow sketched upon the sky, while those that faced south looked down and plunging cliff to the plain stretching out. They have given a couple of things here, so we'll jump to the questions again. So the first question is, what does the protagonist's preference for barrenness and starkness? The question is this: at Carignano suggested. This suggested the, I would say, simplicity, isn't it? So the answer is obviously B. What do you get to know about the protagonist's state of mind from a reaction to the postman? She feels grateful for his presence and assistance. She disliked the disturbances, right? She disliked the disturbances. That's the answer. Okay. What does the protagonist's desire to be mistaken for a point reveal about her mindset? She desires to appreciate and noticed by others. No, she has a deep admiration and beauty for, yes, obviously. Otherwise, why would have she talked like that? Then 16 is the protagonist's description of the nestling screams as a shrill and maddening shows that. We'll check this shrill and maddening. Let us check about the protagonist's description of the nestling. What she is talking in the passage. Look. Shrill. I think answer is the protagonist's description of the nestling screams as shrill and maddening shows she finds the nestling to be vexatious and irritating. I think that could be the possible answer. So, which of the following statements are true about protagonist's all-war state of mind in Carignano? She experienced a sense of constant restlessness and anguish. She felt isolated, disconnected from her environment. No, this is not there. She was content, fulfilled at the, yes. So I think I will go with only 3. 18. In the light of above passage, what role does nature play in the protagonist's life at Carignano? It provides her a source of creativity. It offers solace, peace, and sense of belongingness. I think B is the answer because it is what reflects. So thank you guys for having this lecture and kindly listening to it. We will continue discussing about the further questions in upcoming parts. So keep updating yourself with the next video lecture. That will be the part 2. It will be a series of lectures. We will be discussing each and every question, discussing each and every line in the question paper, so that for the future aspirants who will be trying to take CLAT 2025, when they will look at previous year's question and they will analyze, they will find some very interesting facts and they will get an idea how to study for GAT 2025. Okay, or without PYQ, always remember the syllabus, PYQs are the 2 eyes of any exam, any competitive exam, without which you are blind. If you are following everything but not following question papers, that is PYQs, you are not going to top this exam. If you really want to top this, you need to study and work hard according to the syllabus and previous year's questions analysis. So keep in touch, keep in tune with us. Hope. Bye.